So here's a quick introduction into an information processing model that is part of the AS syllabus for OCR, and you'll see that the model we're going to be looking at today is Welford's model. Now you should already be familiar with a simple information processing model which would encompass an input, a stimulus identification, a response selection, then some response programming leading to the output. Now what we're doing here is looking in a bit more detail at Welford's model and detailing the parts of this model, highlighting the simple information processing model discussed earlier. So if we look in detail now at Welford's model, you'll see, starting on the left hand side of the model here, that we've got two parts to the input section. First of all, our sense organs receiving stimuli from the outside. That would be, for example, our sight, hearing, the smell, touch, those sense organs receiving stimuli. An example would be in a game of football, seeing some defenders approaching or seeing some teammates, hearing some calls from your teammates, feeling the ball on your feet, those types of issues there. We've also got our internal sensors, which would be feeling the ball on the foot, and our proprioceptors telling us of the position of the joints. Now these two inputs would lead into the process of perception. Perception's got three important parts, and the easy way to remember these is through remembering the letters D, C and R. Now perception, the three parts are detection, comparison and recognition. So this interpretation process of perception starts with detecting that the stimulus has occurred. This could involve detecting your position on the pitch, where the defenders are, where your teammates are, where you are in relation to the goal. Comparing that to something in your memory, and your short-term stores might play a role here. Comparing that to what's in your memory, and then recognizing when you've been in this situation before. Once you've interpreted the information based on detecting, comparing and recognizing the situation, you can then move on to making your decision. So an example would be, you've detected that you're in the middle of the pitch, receiving the ball with defenders in front, and you've got teammates to the left of you. You then compare in your memory to when you've been in this position before, recognize that you've been in this situation before and that you have been able to play the ball out to the left successfully. That could lead you to make the decision to play the ball to the left to keep play progressing. Once you've made the decision, you pass the message then to our effector control mechanism, and that is going to run the motor program and send the correct stimuli to the effectors, which are our muscles, for them to carry out that movement and carry out the decision that you've made. Based on that, there's going to be three feedback loops, two that are intrinsic, which means that they're inside of the body, one leading back to our effector control and one leading back into the process of perception. And we've also got an extrinsic feedback loop, which is outside of the body, which leads back into our sense organs, because you will see what's happened from the movement, which will provide feedback to you via the sense organs, which then would lead back into perception process. So that's a brief introduction of Welford's model. Good activity now for you to do would be to pick a skill or a section of a game from your sport that you've chosen at A level, and to work through this model with the example in your mind.